remember the young African woman we met in Marley?
Women of the world.
Well, her courage has really touched me. Do many women around the world live in such difficult conditions?
Oh, sadly, yes. It's women who produce between 60 and 80% of food in most developing nations, and half of all the world's production. Yet they have little income and very few rights. What's more, 70% of illiterate people in the world are women.
So why are women so much poorer and more underprivileged than men?
Well, nearly everywhere in the world, unfortunately, we still find that women take second place, with first place occupied by men, of course. And it's a problem more cruelly apparent in the traditions of certain poor countries.
Whoa!
But it's a very long story, as old as humanity itself. Hurry up. Come on now, we're running late.
All through history, women have been subjected to the rule of men. Even in ancient times, they were seen as inferior beings. Only men could go into politics or own land, houses, and wealth. Girls could be married off at the age of 12. The ancient Greeks said a woman's greatest finery is her silence. In the Middle Ages, wives had to obey their husbands, keep quiet, wear no makeup, do the housework, look after the children, and devote themselves to keeping their husbands happy.
And woe betide any single women or free-thinking women. They were denounced as witches. Remember Joan of Arc, that brave heroine who fought better than any man? Abandoned by all, she died burnt at the stake.
Ah, come on, what's the problem? That's just the way it was.
But how could men have been so unfair?
Being selfish, ignorant, or maybe they were just actually afraid of women.
Afraid of women? How come?
They may have been afraid women would do things better than they could. Then men wouldn't have been best at everything anymore.
It was only after thousands of years of subjugation that women began to struggle to gain equal rights. The right to vote was first obtained in New Zealand in 1893, then in Australia, Finland, Canada, Brazil, France, China, and India. It's now almost a universal right, but most women in developing nations continue to do hard work without being paid. This is not acceptable. We want equality for women worldwide.
Well, you can see we have a lot more work to do.
We've elected C, editor-in-chief, for the special issue on women worldwide.
What? We don't want a girl in charge here.
I should really think before you speak, because if we apply equality of male-female numbers here, there's one boy too many here, and it could easily be you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's true, there are more boys than girls here, especially if I include myself in your calculations. A female editor-in-chief is an excellent idea, and the subject is perfect, too. Wouldn't you agree?
So in our country, women do enjoy equal rights.
Even though we may enjoy equal rights as a whole in most of the Western countries, women are still paid only 75% of what men earn for the same job.
That's normal. Men earn more than women because they're stronger than them.
You were saying...
And here's the proportion of men and women with positions in governments worldwide. It's a staggering statistic.
And one I hope that will change. By the way, do you have any information about the conditions of women worldwide? In the special edition of your paper about women, you'll need it.
We're setting that up. We have our Guardians of the Planet correspondents waiting for us everywhere. Hooray! Petra's off to Africa to investigate the origins of poverty. I'm visiting India. And Mountie is going to China.
Ding, 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 ding.
While back at base, Annie and Sophie will stay here to collate all information received.
Great.
And which will come in from all over the world. Are you ready?
What about us?
We haven't forgotten you. You'll be teaming up with us. Here's the list.
Fine example of feminism and great efficiency, don't you think, guys?
Why the two of us been put with her? Cause normally, it's one boy for two girls, isn't it?
Yeah. I know. It's because she's weak. She needs at least 2 bodyguards to protect her.
Welcome to Burkina, Petra. I'm Yaya. You didn't tell me you were bringing a couple of comedians. Those are fields of sugarcane and peanuts.
It's immense. So then, why do they say Africa can't feed its own population?
These crops aren't for us, they're for export. All this may end up on your plate or on your neighbor's.
That's ridiculous. What's more, huge farms like this ruin biodiversity. The plant species that grow here have vanished. Who knows if they'll ever come back? And the fertilizers and pesticides pollute the water table and wells.
You're right. Let me show you the results of our intensive farming. You see, when there's a drought, desertification sets in. So now nothing will grow here. And to think that our crops are used to pay the money lent us by other nations. A debt we can never pay back. Now, do you understand how hard African women have to work? They don't have any money to buy good land. And there's barely 2% of farmland left for them. Look, this is the 6-armed woman. It's how we represent our women. Look, there's one over here. Come on, then. Let's help her.
Don't tell me the village is up there on the hill.
We're never gonna make it there.
Be quiet and walk.
So what's for main course today?
You can eat as much as you want when you get home. Here, that's the whole meal. I need the rest for my husband and children.
What? You can't work with just that in your stomach. I'm still hungry. It doesn't fill you up, that stuff. I need a good burger and extra fries.
You just have to follow Asia's example and be grateful for it, right? She'll show you your chores. She's going to school today. Right. Asia? don't see many men in the village.
That's because most of them have gone to look for work in the capital city. The women and children will join them if they can't survive here, meaning more and more poor people in the poverty of the shanty towns.
I can't believe how brave they are, with no education or training and with no money.
Sadly, in Africa, women are often ignored. The men get trained to use farm machinery in the fields like the ones you saw. But as for the women, well, they just have their strength and their goodwill. They need mills so they no longer have to crush millet for hours on end. And transport, which will give them time to learn and read and write. Instead of wasting hours fetching water and firewood. We need wells in every village to irrigate gardens and individual plots. The women have a wealth of historical knowledge. Thousands of years ago, they were the first to farm the land and improve species. They know the benefits of hundreds of different plants, like those for medical usage, for example.
You're right, yeah. There's enough food for everyone, providing that we give the means to people here, and especially to the women who are providing food for the whole world. With their efforts, Africa will prosper.
You have a really remarkable aircraft there. But here in India, nothing ever surprises us. I'm Madhu. Welcome to the state of Gujarat. You've got here just in time. The meeting's starting soon.
So do any of you here have enough money to buy farmland, a business, or any kind of mode of transport?
Are you joking? What do you think? I was 12 when I married my husband, and he's still a boss.
I own nothing, just my daughters to help me with work. My husband looks after my boys. He sends them to school.
My husband says women shouldn't be educated or even show themselves outside the house. And if he isn't happy with me, he could throw me out.
Remind you of anything?
Sure, we seem to have been transported back to ancient times or the Middle Ages.
I gather wood in the forest and sell it in the city. But I barely earn enough to feed my children. And foreigners from some organization came to tell me we shouldn't touch the trees because of deforestation. That's easy for them to say. They look healthy and well-fed.
So what do they want me to do then? Starve to death?
As you all know, the banks only lend to those people who can pay back the loan. People who already have money. It's for this reason why we've founded the Bank for Women, to lend money to women who have nothing. My name's Namita. Don't be afraid. Come see me and talk about your financial concerns, about your plans. We'll lend you the money.